listen, people always blame me for rappers getting arrested and stuff like that. We've never had any interview used in a court case that I'm familiar with.
And I've been defending you since day one. But yeah, it's because mad people are, oh, what about Vlad? What about Vlad? I'm like, first off, you don't have to answer a question you don't like.
You don't have to answer a
Second
question.
off, if you answer it, because people were trying to talk about Casanova, talking about what he was doing to people in prison and then saying this in the interview.
Nothing to do with this case.
He's saying it because he's saying it, but you can't use the interview. You got the fucking choice to say it.
Like, honestly, that interview, you could look at his case file, honestly. What he was being charged with had nothing to do with the old shit that he talked about. In fact, a Nick Cannon interview was involved in his case. We actually got the audio from LA, and we actually played it where in a Nick Cannon interview, he said, "I'm still ape." And the prosecutor's like, look, he said that he's still a gang member. Yeah. Because it's Nick Cannon interview. But no one's calling Nick Cannon the police.
Yeah, they fucking brought me into the YNW Melly case.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Because the gang that Melly is repping is my shit.
Okay.
So it's like they're trying to say we're both in the same thing. And the undercover in that case that went viral for the mask.
People are saying it was me, by the way.
So his lawyer, Raven, she asked him, how could you infiltrate the gang and you're white? And he was like, well, one of the highest, most respected members of GKB is white. And then they brought me into it. And he tried to say, I'm the treasurer of GKB and I'm funding the gang with my YouTube channel. That's why I exposed his ass. You seen the video I did on him?
On YNW Melly?
The undercover.
Oh, the undercover. Yeah.
I got the pictures with the mask off and everything. I looked all into him.
GKB stands for what?
Gangsta Killer Blood.
Okay. In the undercover, was he actually infiltrating? No?
Fuck no. Everything he said was shit that he saw me talk about on No Jumper. GKB was involved with proving the Island Boys were fake Bloods. No, that was me. I got on Instagram with them like, yeah, y'all Blood? Obviously not. Now they're doing fucking gay shit on OnlyFans. Like, it doesn't take a gang expert to see that they were never that to begin with. So I think he's really just a fan of like hip hop, and he just watches YouTube and tries to act like he's some fucking expert.
That's wild, man.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah, no, people were saying that's Vlad. That's Vlad, and I was like, y'all owe me an apology when his real face comes out.
It's just nuts.
Man. Listen, I've had. In one case, we had an interview where we interviewed someone from prison, and the next day they asked me to take it down because there was some stuff they said in there. They said it could be used because they had an appeal coming up,
right?
An appeal, actual like a court, case appeal. I took it down. The Justice Department called me up a few months later, said they wanted the footage. I said no, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna put you on the stand." It's like, all right, I'm lawyering up. I got a lawyer, paid like $10,000, and they weren't able to subpoena the footage. They couldn't get the sign off. That was the only time I've ever had anyone approach me. And I've always said publicly that I don't cooperate against my guests.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I interview somebody, I'm going to fight on their behalf to keep them safe as far as I can. Now, if the video gets publicly released and it's out there, because it was sort of a gray area and it was going to set a precedent, I think, journalistically, because the video came out for a day but then got taken down.
Right.
So they're like, well, we want the video that was taken down. And I said, no. And they're like, well, since it got released already, then we should have access to it. And we said, no, you don't. Because there was like someone had recorded it and it was like on some random Instagram page. They had little bits of it already, but they couldn't get the original copy from me.
Well, I got hit up by someone in Melly's team telling me that there's a possibility they might try to get me, like request me or whatever the fuck in the case. Because they took the interview that I did with Track and brought it into the case. Because me and Track ended up sitting down for an interview because something came out that made it look like he fucking voluntarily gave over the cell phone that's being used against Melly. And then new paperwork came out clearing that. So we sat down and did an interview, but they told me, yeah, there's a possibility they could try to. And I was like, well, I hope y'all get me a lawyer because I'm finna contempt of court, not show up. They're going to put me in Broward County and it's going to be a fucked up situation.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I can't stop people from saying what they talk about, but I'm always very careful when talking about open cases.
Right.
If it's an open case, I'm not going to talk about it. You can look at my interview with the baby when he had the open murder case.
Right.
I said, we're not going to talk about it. I made a comment about how I felt about it, and I just kept it moving. He didn't say anything about it.
Well, you know what's crazy about that is I talk about open cases, and people have tried to use that against me. But the craziest thing is what
there's a difference between you talking about it yourself versus me interviewing someone about
because
the actual
they could give information.
Case.
So this is the thing that's wild is I'll read paperwork. This is what the police know. They know what's written in the paperwork. They wrote the paperwork. I'll read that and someone will DM me like, man, you speaking on an open case, white boy, but you don't even know what you talk about. This is really who shot him. It wasn't even him. Homie, you telling me, so what do you want me to redo the video and give them the real fucking truth? Like, you don't even, bro, why would I tell them what you know? I'm saying what the police already know. Oh, no, you right, bro. My bad, bro. Yeah. I fuck with your videos. Like, come on.
People don't really understand how that shit works.
Crazy.
You know, and if I talk about people doing murders or serious crimes, you know, drug dealing, whatever, my interviews, these are people that have already done the time or they pled guilty. They took a plea deal. You know, like Sammy the Bull killed like 15 people. We talked about damn near all those murders, but he took a plea deal. So you could talk about it.
Yeah.
Freeway Ricky Ross was one of the biggest drug dealers in America. He got sentenced to life in prison. He managed to get out at one point by showing that it was a CCE and he couldn't be charged multiple times for the same thing. But like, if you do your jail time, you have earned the right with your life to talk about these things.
Right.
But people don't really understand that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And if I interview somebody, like you could talk to anyone. Like me and Boosie are super close, right? But I don't talk to him about his case off camera. And on camera, I'm also very careful. And also, like, since he does have an open case, you know, when I did the interview with him last time, well, both times, I sent all the footage to his lawyers first, just to make sure if there's anything that's could potentially in any type of way be used against him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm always very, very careful. But look, if I interview you and then you go outside and shoot somebody, I can't be blamed for that. You know what I'm saying? But they'll be like, oh yeah, everyone interviews with Vlad goes to jail. Like, I can't stop you from doing crimes after you leave the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when I interview you, you're wearing a wire. I'm wearing a wire. There's 3 cameras pointed at you.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that everything is being recorded. You see what I'm saying? At no point do I ever, you know, like use a hot mic on somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, if let's just say you walk outside to go talk to your friends and you still have your mic on, like I'll tell my guy to turn it off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, everyone knows they're being recorded. So if you choose to say something that ultimately you get hemmed up in afterwards, and I don't know that as you're doing it, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
these
because
are the same fucking people that go in a fucking homicide unit and say a whole bunch of shit to the police, and then I go, no, this ain't nothing in the interrogation ain't.
Right. I mean, listen,
shit.
I've been at the police and the feds and all that for 15 years.
Yeah.
At this point, I got nothing to do with law enforcement. I don't cooperate with law enforcement. You know, I'm not a street guy. I don't have a real criminal record. You know, I've had some bullshit arrests over suspended licenses here and there. You know what I mean? And done a couple of days in jail, but I don't co-sign any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But also, like I said, I try to protect people to the best of my ability.
Right.
And I try to make sure that no one gets hemmed up. But like when I interview, you know, Hurricane Chris, who ends up beating a murder charge, he called me and said, hey, I want to come talk about it.
Yeah.
I just beat my murder case. I took the stand. You know, Travis Rudolph, who just beat a murder. You know what I mean? That's the Florida case.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where the girlfriend sent her brothers to go shoot up his house and he ended up killing one of the guys. Yo, I went to court. I took the stand. I didn't do it. And now I get, you know, and I want to talk about it now. You know, it's not snitching. It's I won the case and, you know, I do want to talk about it. And ultimately, you know, if people want to say that I'm a snitch or I'm the feds or whatever because of that, then they're welcome to it.
It is what it is. Yeah, I get all the fucking. It is a lot of these people don't even know what a plea deal is. Right. Oh, he's taking a plea snitching. Gunna took a plea. It's just like, you know, you can't fucking fix stupid.
No, a plea deal means that you are saying you're guilty of the crime. Mm-hmm. You admit to the crime, and you get given either probation or a shorter prison sentence than if you had actually gone to trial and blown trial.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?